Hi, I'm David Trotter. I work with Local Government Risk Management Services. I'm a public safety risk consultant. Today's topic is understanding mental illness for law enforcement. There are a number of mental illnesses that law enforcement can encounter. In all contacts with the public, law enforcement desires a favorable outcome. While this is not always possible, the officers should do everything that is feasible to have a favorable outcome. In 1963, the Community Mental Centers for Health Act was passed to provide federal funding for outpatient community health centers. Prior to that, persons with mental illnesses were institutionalized for treatment. Since that time, deinstitutionalization has occurred and mental illness is primarily treated on an outpatient clinical basis. Many people being treated for mental illness live with family or in group homes or are simply homeless. Law enforcement is often the first line of contact for persons having a mental illness crisis. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 2 million people with mental illnesses are booked into local jails annually. 15% of male and 30% of female jail inmates have a serious mental illness, and 25% of people killed in officer-involved shootings annually have a serious mental illness. There is no correlation between mental illness and violent behavior. Most often than not, violent encounters with these individuals occur when they either off their medications or have recurring issues with illegal substance abuse. Violent encounters account for a small percentage of mental health contacts for law enforcement. Emotional, cognitive, and behavioral changes are clues to the internal symptoms of a person is experiencing. These changes can be brought on by major depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or panic attacks. Someone experiencing a mental health crisis may experience delusions, paranoia, or hallucinations. Their perception of events is a reality to them. The person may hear voices, have flashback hallucinations, be extremely sensitive to light, sounds, touch, taste, or smell. The person may experience extreme highs and lows, have delusions of grandeur, paranoid delusions, and their thought process may seem illogical or scattered. Some behaviors may be misinterpreted by the officer. The officer's actions at that point can escalate or de-escalate the situation. Depending on what the person is mentally experiencing, a simple comforting touch on their shoulder can cause them to jerk away or flee. Speaking loud or forcefully may cause agitation or aggression. If the person is delusional, don't dispute or agree with the content. Remember, their perception is their reality, and if you seem belittling to them, it can cause an adverse effect. If a person is delusional, don't dispute or agree with the content. Remember, their perception is their reality, and if you seem belittling to them, it can cause an adverse effect.